Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of April 23rd, 2017. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It's an exciting week, and it is a week where, yes, there is surprises. Yes, there is fresh energy coming, very welcome energy coming in, and some major pivot moments, if you will, that help bring a whole lot of things full circle. But at the same time, there is a sense of having to really emphasize and having to gain greater clarity on ongoing matters. So as much as we have new energy, as much as we have this desire to start fresh, there is still very likely going to be, for a lot of us out there, some sense of needing to pace ourselves, some sense of needing further contemplation, further consideration, and realizing that more information is coming in now. And this is really spoken to very strongly by Mercury and Venus. Mercury now is going to repeat certain key connections that he made about 4 weeks ago. So think back at your life, what was taking place for you right around the end of last month and as you were starting this month. Well, in many ways, the sky this week is going to reflect those celestial conversations. So Mercury, reaching out in supreme harmony with Saturn and meeting Uranus now, while Mercury is continuing its retrograde motion. So it is going to be next week that Mercury is going to officially go direct, and I'll be here to talk about it then. But while Mercury is still retrograde, and while we are in the middle of this ongoing conversation playing out for all of us, it is a time where new conversations and really aha moments, if you will, communications coming through, understandings happening that may seem to come out of nowhere, but ultimately bring about greater stability and bring about a much more prosperous and much more fortunate future in the bigger picture of your life. So don't be afraid of seeing the truth wherever it is that the truth needs to find you. Yes, sometimes truth can be difficult, it can be uncomfortable, but I feel that, and especially when I look at the sky over the course of the last 2 weeks, as I've been talking to you guys about with the Venus retrograde season and how Venus was dancing with Saturn in particular over the last couple of weeks, meeting with Chiron over the last couple of weeks, we would have been feeling this energy. This is decidedly different. This is a lot more mind oriented, a lot more intellectually oriented, and this is an energy that allows some healthy detachment. And that really is key. As much as this is happening with Mercury in the sign of Aries, which is very much about jumping in and being fully present, energy and all. At the same time, both Saturn and Uranus are planets that are about some healthy emotional detachment, some ability to see what it is that you're thinking, see what it is that is quote unquote really going on, and being able to understand the different responses that you may be having, and where is it that you can choose responses ultimately that empower you and move you towards a future that you truly are worthy of. And for others, this is going to be like getting insights that ultimately propel them in much more stable situations, propel them towards greater commitment as well. And especially, and that becomes especially true where it comes to matters of desire and what you really want in your heart of hearts, what you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have. And that includes in all areas of life, certainly, but that includes in love as well. And that's with Venus right now in the middle of Venus retrograde season. Venus is right now direct. And Venus is right now this week going to change signs. So this is a very important pivot moment for Venus as she re-enters the sign of Aries, where Mercury is right now, sort of highlighting this idea of what we are passionate about, that what it is that we desire is what it is that we love. Is that always the case? Or is it sometimes the case that we can get the two a little bit convoluted, where we can get the two mixed up? Just because there's lust doesn't necessarily mean that there is love. Just because there's a lot of passion, and that can be really great, doesn't necessarily mean that that is where the higher qualities of love are going to be found. And sometimes that's exactly what we want. That's exactly what makes passion so great, is that that's not necessarily where we're going to find those higher ideals of truth and of loyalty. But there are moments when we find that very healthy ability to distinguish between what we're feeling and what it is ultimately that's going to get us to that feeling in a higher sense, and what it is that our life is showing us. So with this particular sky, we have got Venus now in this pivot back into the sign of Aries. Think about what was happening for you at the very beginning of this month. Think about what was happening for you in the early part of February, because in some way you are going to feel like topics, considerations, conversations, inspirations, desires, motivations, in some way this is going to be sort of the third and last full fruition and understanding of an ongoing matter related to these areas of life. This is going to be that sense that, okay, now the Venus retrograde season is starting to come to a close. What have been the higher learning? What has been some of the higher lessons in love and self-love and self-value, in value of others? How are you now defining love differently? How are you feeling love differently? And where is it now that you're ready to trust what it is that you feel? Where is it that you've been getting in your own way? And where is it that you can be different now if you're going to experience the kind of love that you truly desire? Now, again, this could be romantic love. This could be love that you're showing to yourself, right? You might have the romantic love part down. You may feel that you have that in your life. But what is this discontent? What is it that you've been feeling? Does it really have to do with the other person? Maybe it does, but maybe it doesn't. Well, with Venus moving back into the sign of Aries, you'll be able to take ownership for your experiences in love and decide what it is that is going to mean for you, and how it is now that you're going to take that understanding and move forward with it. So this is where we start to demonstrate to the universe. We start to feel that click. We start to feel that understanding that, okay, I got the learning. I got the lesson. I know what it is that's happening. I know what it is that I'm supposed to do now if I'm going to live in a space and from a place of love. Love for this other person, might be a specific person. Love for self. Love for ultimately what you do, how you're living your life. Where is it that you need to be living that more consciously and knowing your intentions and knowing your truth and bringing heart to that truth? Well, this is the kind of sky that's going to help you to get there. This is the kind of sky that's going to help you to make that jump. Where over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've had an energy that for some has felt frustrating, maybe has felt painful, maybe has felt a little insecure as well. I know that a lot of people out there have felt a lack of security as well. This will allow that very important transition to occur, and this will allow a healthy jumping off point to really feel like you're able to embrace your life and embrace what you love, a life that you love in a whole new sense. And new being an important part of this, even though we're wrapping things up now with the Venus retrograde season. Now, Venus isn't officially going to be out of shadow, and this whole Venus retrograde season isn't going to be over till mid-May, but that is coming up very soon. Okay, so that's right around the corner. But we are still in Venus retrograde season. Now, this is where it's going to start to feel like things are coming together, like you're getting the lessons. The learning is hitting close to home. And so this new element that's coming in, this fresh energy that's coming in, is thanks to a new moon. There's a new moon this week, and it is happening in the sign of Taurus. I'm so excited about this new moon because to me, this is so beautifully timed, so perfectly timed. We had a full moon 2 weeks ago, and it was in a sign ruled by Venus. Now we're having a new moon in a sign ruled by Venus. So there's this emphasis on fresh beginnings, but tapping into that goddess of love and pleasure and that sense of understanding that we are incarnated for a reason, that spirituality isn't found necessarily by thinking that you need to elevate your consciousness beyond the physical, but rather finding a way to live holistically, to integrate with the physical, to find a way to consider where it is that your pleasure and your joy and the things that resonate as happy for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that that has to be bad, that you need to think that just because you desire it means you need to question it. There's a healthy kind of questioning, and I think that some of that question, right? Some of this idea of love being connected to sacrifice, being connected to, selfless giving, almost to an altruistic point, almost to a point where, okay, if I love this person, how much am I really down? How much am I really able to sacrifice to be with this person? How much am I going to put them ahead of me? How much am I going to think more of them before I think of myself? Well, that's a big part of what Venus moving through Pisces and speaking with Saturn and meeting Chiron, that's been taking place over the last couple of weeks. That's a big part of how the sky was asking us to understand love. Well, now that changes with Venus moving into the sign of Aries and this new moon in Taurus, which is speaking with Neptune. Now, Neptune is a very elevated, a spiritual energy, but it is ultimately that Taurus moon that is very grounded and that is telling us that we can trust our pleasure and that we can trust ourselves. We can trust the things that make us feel human and alive and grounded and secure within our bodies, that allow us to really enjoy what it means to be incarnated in this lifetime, and to consider how there could be a spirituality to that very enjoyment. This to me is that perfect balance when we have a new moon in Taurus speaking with Neptune. It's that perfect balance between celestial Aphrodite and earthly Aphrodite. It's that perfect balance between enjoying being alive and knowing that there are forms of pleasure, forms of beauty that are not necessarily just about what's happening in any given moment, not necessarily just about what's happening with our five senses, but using the five senses to elevate beyond and still be connected to them. There is a beauty and a perfection to how the sky works together. There's this intimate tapestry that I see always playing out between the planets and their movements and their connections to us and to each other. And especially now, the fact that we've got this new moon happening, again, speaking in harmony with Neptune, also in a sense, speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto as well. There's this understanding that we are on a path and that we are changing and that we are growing and becoming better. Remember, Pluto right now has begun a retrograde phase that I spoke about last week. So right now we've got Pluto in a very potent position, in a very strong holding in the sky. Well, the fact that this new moon is happening and this Pluto is trying to reach out to that new moon at the same time, well, it tells me that all of us in some way are trying to access that energy of that Pluto. We're trying to understand what change really means, what it means to sit in our truth, what it means to allow a transformation to occur, what it means to allow a rebirth to occur. A new moon is a powerful symbol of a rebirth. It's a powerful symbol for being in the dark and then stepping into your light, knowing that some of the most powerful things happen without necessarily light being shone on them. But once you connect with the seed, it can't help but grow powerfully forward. A sky like this promises us that the seeds will be revealed. And we've also got that right motivation and that right self-knowledge to ensure that we plant them well in our own individual journeys and ensure that they form the foundation for some powerful changes set to take place. Not only now, not only this week in the immediacy, but in the weeks and months ahead. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. It means so much. If you would like to see the horoscope for your sign, if you'd like to see how all this wonderful stuff happening this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com and become one of my superstars, my Astrofabulous superstars. I love you guys so much. I love all my friends and fans, and of course my superstars as well. New superstars, thank you so much to each and every one of you that join each and every day. Thank you so much to the superstars that have been there, who are part of strengthening that space, the superstar space, where it is that you can come together with people just like you, comment on videos, looking at your sign ahead, looking at just your sign ahead, expanded videos, just like the monthly videos that I post on YouTube, except that you get it each and every week. So each and every week, including this week with this guy, it's there right now at astrofabulous.com. You can log on and get instant access to exclusive video scopes available only to superstars on my website, nadiyashah.com. So you can get a look at the week ahead. I really hope that you will join me there. And I love you guys for being here as well. Truly so very grateful for it. No big announcements just yet. We are in the middle of a Mercury retrograde season. So even though there's a lot going on kind of like underneath the surface, I'm just going to keep it kind of contemplating and instead invite you guys to join me at astrofabulous.com. And I hope that you will enjoy, of course, the video scopes available there, as I hope that you enjoy this moment here right now, because really you being here to me is everything, and it means so much to me. As I always say, as I like to say, the whole reason behind everything I do, absolutely everything that I do with my work, is to affirm in the universe that the universe is wise and loving. That is really the point of all of this, of all my work. To affirm in the universe that the universe is wise and loving, to affirm in cyberspace, to affirm out there for all of us to come together and celebrate and magnify the energy, the affirmation of love and wisdom in the world. That really is my intention. And so you being here allows me to do just that. And for that, I am truly, eternally grateful. Thank you so much for that. So once again, astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com to access the video scope for your sign for this week. You can get instant access right now by becoming one of my superstars at my website, nadiyashah.com or astrofabulous.com. And thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for it. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.